Hi, this is Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Tellington T-Touch practitioner for animals and people. And today, with Tristan, who is a Corgi, on this episode of Conversations with a Corgi, we are going to be talking about the 8th chakra in our pets and horses. And it's a really interesting one because people don't have this one. And I am very excited to be bringing you this talk today about the 8th chakra, even though I'm leaving for the beach in practically minutes after this. But I didn't want to leave you hanging because it is such an interesting topic. And a lot of the information that I have, or that anyone would have about the 8th chakra in pets, would be from a wonderful woman in England called Marguerite Coates. She has written this book, Healing for Pets, and also another one for horses. She is a Reiki practitioner, an animal communicator, and teacher, and she's just a wonderful person. And she, early in her career doing Reiki, and many other Reiki practitioners and craniosacral people have also been able to feel this 8th chakra. But early in her career, she was really aware of an 8th chakra in pets that she was drawn to practically immediately upon meeting them. And as we talk about the properties of this chakra, you will understand why. I have a dog hair on my glasses. What a surprise. Oh, it's worse. There we go. So, the 8th chakra is interestingly associated with the color black. Black is interesting to me because along the way when I was becoming an instructor for craniosacral therapy, someone said to me, you should always wear black on the first day of your class because everyone will see their favorite color in black. And so they will like you more, they will relate to you more, and they will find a connection with you almost instantly, which I found to be an interesting comment from someone who does color therapy. And so this 8th chakra is associated with black, again for that same reason that it includes all the colors of the rainbow. And it also relates to light, which also includes all of the colors of the rainbow. The 8th chakra, with its association with black, is related to the planet Pluto, which is now not even a planet, but interestingly that it has a name of a dog, Pluto, and it's related to this chakra. The element associated with it, remember we had the 5 elements working our way up, and then we added light and knowingness. We are now adding the element of the universe. And the sense, remember we had the 5 senses and then intuition and spirit and knowingness. We are adding the sense of instinct with our animal friends with their 8th chakra. And some of the gemstones associated with the 8th chakra include the tiger's eye, which is here. It's lovely gold and black, and it really does represent one of the main ideas of the 8th chakra, as does this other stone, which I have in a little dog. It's a snowflake obsidian, and you can see it really is just little white snowflakes on a black stone. And I got this little dog after a T-Touch class in Santa Fe that I was working with, and another woman in the class does Dalmatian rescue, and when she pulled a little dog like this out of the bag of animals as her present from Linda for participating in the class, she burst into tears because she does Dalmatian rescue, and what's the chance of finding a little spotted dog like this in a bag with 50 or 60 animals? So I was pretty happy to get one too because I had a good connection with this person. Hi to South Africa where you are, and I am really happy that this little dog does represent the 8th chakra because it's an interesting connection. Oh, my glasses are fogging up. It's very humid here today. So thanks to Eugene Chopin, who is in South Africa, I will always remember the snowflake obsidian on my little dog. So those are the stones that are associated with the 8th chakra. And carnelian is also associated with it. And because of its location, which is near the shoulder here, it's been associated with the parts of the body that are close by, the head, the neck, the chest, and the forelegs. And so if your dog has a problem in any of these areas, or your horse or your cat or your rabbit, this chakra might be one you want to pay attention to. And it relates particularly to the pet's relationship to people. And Marguerite describes this chakra as being similar to the blackness, the darkness of like almost the dark night of the soul, where you are just searching and lonely and longing, and there's just blackness around you, and then suddenly you see a light in the distance, and then a warm, kind hand reaches out to you. And that is the idea of the 8th chakra, and its idea about connecting people to their pets and their horses. And I like that idea a lot because I've been in that place. Right after 9/11, I just was so struck by what had happened. I had lost several of my students, practically an entire class of my students at the prep school where I was teaching were killed that day, all in the same place. They were working for Cantor Fitzgerald, and it just seemed impossible that more than half of my class, and in fact they were all men and they were in my women's literature class, but they were in their 40s when this happened. Many of them perished that day. And so on the 1-year anniversary of 9/11, I was working at a place in a small town far, far to the west of here, and I decided to take myself on a little shopping trip at lunch, and I found this necklace, which I don't think you can see very well, but it is black stones with little shiny white Swarovski crystals in a circle in the center. And I always said, this will be the necklace that reminds me of a shining light in the darkness. And ironically or not, that's how Marguerite Coates describes this 8th chakra in our pets, as a shining light in the darkness, and it represents our connection to them. And she says that people don't have this chakra because we are the masters of our will, whereas animals are subjected to the forces of humans. And so they need the chakra to help them relate to the kind touch, the giving hand, the person that watches out for them, feeds them, takes care of them, and protects them in the world. And it's really important, even for the wild animals. There are the stewards of the forest, you know, wildlife experts and park rangers, and even people like me that just take care of the animals on my 7 acres. There are so much need of animals to rely on people for their safety and well-being. And so this 8th chakra speaks to that. And in fact, we are in my yard here by this mirror that I rescued from the Brimfield Fair one time when I was shopping there with a friend, and I keep it in my garden to reflect the light from the sun. And it's placed under my horse, also from Santa Fe, from that T-Touch class, which to me is similar to the horse that we use in our T-Touch logo. It's a flying horse with a hand for its wing. This is just a flying Pegasus. But it also represents that idea of, you know, magically sailing out of the darkness into the light, or flying to your freedom, which is what this horse represents, and part of what we see with the 8th chakra. Marguerite Coates calls it the brachial major chakra because that's its location over the brachial plexus in your dog here. Tristan's wearing the closest we have to a sparkly white collar this morning. And she also calls it the key chakra because it is the strongest center of energy, and it links to and activates all the other chakras in the body. So it's called the key chakra, the 8th chakra, or the brachial major chakra. And it is a very strong energetic chakra. It is a perfect place to greet a pet when you're starting to work with them with T-Touch or cranial work, or even just to meet a dog that belongs to your friend that's a new dog. You come to that part of the dog with your hand held this way, which is not threatening, and it allows you to make a connection with them that is non-threatening, and that in fact imparts your love and appreciation for them. So this 8th chakra, Tristan has a little, every dog does, a little bit of a lighter colored hair just behind his shoulder blade. It's a little bit in front of that and towards the top of the shoulder blade. And it is close to the heart chakra because part of the idea of this chakra is the heart, connecting with the heart of your animal. You can get powerful emotion releases working in this area, and you can also send strong healing energies to all of the body from here. The planet of Pluto has been associated with transformation, and that transformation can be two things. It can either be symbolically changing, like connecting with that rescued pet when you first bring him into your home, or it could also be the end of a pet's life as they transform from this form that we love and appreciate to a spirit form that is harder for us to understand. So this chakra is a really important one to include if you're working in hospice with pets. Oh, and it's a really important spiritual chakra. It has a big relationship to the spirit and the balanced emotions of your animal. And it represents, again, that idea of blackness coming into light. And by connecting with the light here, you have access to the whole spectrum of colors. And that idea of being in the dark night of the soul and being lost and having someone reach out to guide you, protect you, and help you. This area is also associated with happiness and joy because of that reaching out and connecting in that dark night when you feel lost and alone. And when you think about even how our puppies are raised, I mean, even in the best situation, they're with their 9, 8, 6, 3, 2 brothers and sisters and their mom and maybe some other dogs if they're raised in a really perfect situation. And then suddenly they're lost and alone when you take them from their litter mates and their family and what they've known. And it's really important for even a dog from the best situation to connect with you through this 8th chakra so that you can provide them with a happy and safe and loving life. But again, imagine just being such a small little being and having your life completely upended when your new person who's going to be with you for 16 years or 15 years or 18 years comes and takes you home with them. And I still remember the incredible joy of Tristan when we finally got home to my house in Massachusetts, because he came from New Jersey and he already had the good fortune of living with Comet, my older big Corgi, who he loved. But he also had a tour of my house looking at all of my Corgi paintings and my Corgi pictures, and much to his delight, my many stuffed Corgis and all of the Corgi things around the house. And he knew that he had come to a good home because everywhere he looked, there were pictures and representations of himself. So it's really important to connect with your animal with this 8th chakra. Again, even if they're coming from an ideal situation, it's still traumatic to make that new home with you. And it's important to let them know that you are safe and loving and you will give them respect and happiness for all of their days. And when you touch an animal in this area, it brings them joy and happiness and connection with you. And it symbolizes that we have heard their inner cry for help, Marguerite says. And so it's also an area of deep emotional, physical, and spiritual connections. So again, it's an ideal part of the body for you to connect with any animal that you're working with any kind of healing modality, or even just love and intention. This chakra is the key to our relationship with animals, and people don't have this, again, as I said, because we are masters of our own destiny. And it's a spiritual link between the animals and us. And of course, a lot of the role of our animals in our lives is to connect us with spirit and with our spiritual selves and with their spiritual selves. So this 8th chakra is, again, a critical place to know about to enhance that spiritual connection with your pet. And often when I've been with a pet who is passing, either during that exact moment or for a good half an hour afterwards, I will put my hand on that 8th chakra and connect with them and just send them love and appreciation for coming into my life, even if it's a client animal, any way I've known them. And I often ask my clients to do the same if they're taking a cat or a dog home with them, to continue staying with them during the process of death and crossing the rainbow bridge. It's a really important spiritual connection that animals give us here, and it is our spiritual link to them. And I believe that connecting with this chakra when an animal is passing during hospice care can also help enhance that spiritual connection that you might have with them once they have passed. And sometimes, even if my animal, I have Comet in some ashes in my room in a box, and sometimes I don't even put my hand on the box, I just put my hand near the box and imagine it connecting with that part of his shoulder, and that deep connection of relationship, spirit, emotion, and love, and I can feel his presence around me in that moment. So even if your pet's not with you, you can still connect with the 8th chakra by placing your hand near their ashes, or if you don't have their ashes, for whatever reason, just get a little stuffed dog or a stuffed kitty or a picture of a Corgi and connect with that 8th chakra, closing your eyes and imagining the animal that you love who is no longer here. Because this chakra has such a powerful spiritual link between our animals and us. And in fact, you can connect, if you're an animal communicator or someone who does what I do, through that chakra with my own pet to all of the pets that have passed or that are in the world, the divine oneness of all of the creatures that are around us. So if I'm working with a particularly difficult case that, where the animal is kind of close to death but still in a very difficult place, helping this person understand what's happening, I sometimes will connect with Comet through that 8th chakra and then ask him to connect me and this little being to all of the other animals in the pack that have come and gone before us. So the spiritual link is a very important part of this chakra, and it reminds us of the light in our own soul, because the animals really are the light in our life, in our lives. And our contact with this chakra can illuminate the life force and the soul of our pets and us. So it's a really important idea of connecting with our pets through this 8th chakra. It is a very powerful energetic center, and therefore powerful spiritually, emotionally, and physically as well. And it is just a lucky thing that Marguerite Coates was able to identify this, because many of us instinctively work with this area and never really realized why and the power of that chakra. And Tristan, can you sit up, please, honey? Come on, come on. Bunny, where's the bunnies? And I just want to show you on Tristan exactly where it is, if you can see him here. He's so short. So it's right in this area. And often if you're working here with Reiki, you can put your hand on the heart chakra, or sometimes on the crown chakra, which connects you with spirit as well. And the heart chakra would connect you with love. And it's just a wonderful way to have a connection with your pet or an animal that you're offering healing energy to. So don't forget about the 8th chakra in our animals. It's really a special place of connection between us and them, and a real gift that we have to connect with them spiritually, to bring us to our higher selves, and to help them find their higher selves if they've had a really hard life before they came to live with us. So thanks for joining us today to talk about the 8th chakra, which is called Brachial Major, or the Key Chakra. And it is in all animals. Oh, there's a little bumblebee coming around to the basil flowers. I don't know if you can see him. It's in all animals, sea life, everyone has this. And it is an important chakra for us to connect with nature, with the oneness that is all, and with our spiritual selves and our higher selves, with our pets, and with our love for our pets. So don't forget about the 8th chakra. And I encourage you today to take some time with your kitty or your dog or your bunny or your hamster or your bird, and just connect with that 8th chakra. If you have a little tiny animal like a hamster, you may only be able to use 1 or 2 fingers, and they might not hold still. You may have to contain them a little bit with your legs around them, your guinea pig. But it is a powerful energetic force, and most people can feel something in that area of their dog or their cat or their bunny or their horse. So we are off to the beach, and we will be again doing some Facebook Lives from Provincetown, Mass, where we will be. Tomorrow is the carnival. It's a big festive event, so probably not a broadcast tomorrow. Or if we do, it'll be later in the day. Their theme this year is Gods and Goddesses, and I am going as the wife of Neptune, Amphitrite, and I have a beautiful blue and ocean-related outfit. Tristan usually doesn't have a costume for this. It's his day off from costumes. But I don't know. He might come up with something between now and tomorrow. I think he'd be a cute seahorse. Anyway, so we will be joining you later in the week with more episodes of Conversations with a Corgi. And from here we will be traveling on into some of the other types of work that I do, and some of the other wonderful things I have to share with you about our relationship to animals and the powerful connections we have with them. Thanks for joining us today. This has been Sally Morgan, physical therapist, Tellington T-Touch practitioner, and craniosacral therapist for animals and people, and Tristan, who's a Corgi. And this has been Conversations with a Corgi, where we have talked about the 8th chakra in our pets and horses and its connection to us. And it's also called Brachial Major, and it's also called the Key Chakra. And you can read more about it in books by Marguerite Coates. They are sometimes available on Amazon or eBay. They're not that easy to find in this country. If you have friends in the UK, they can send you one. So thanks for joining us today, and we will be back in a couple of days. There's that woodpecker again, Bess. Do you hear him? We need a nap. Gonna have a long nap in the car. Everyone have a great day, and remember the little dog made out of snowflake obsidian and the 8th chakra.